Hello everyone, Rabbi Abe here. Well, as promised, I said I was going to reveal one of probably the most ancient of healing tools. That is a tool, a Kabbalistic tool, to draw down healing energy, not only for the body, but first for the soul, the mind, and then, of course, the body. We know the body is an effect of whatever's going on in the soul. And so that will take some explaining. I will make this tool available to you. This tool is called Tikkun Hanefesh, soul corrective. And we're going to learn a lot more about that. It's pretty much in line with what I'm doing in the very near future. I'm going to be giving a course on changing destiny, but that has to do with the soul and the process of the soul, reincarnation, a person's karma, and whatever's a part of that that's going on in this particular lifetime. Birth, the process of birth, the process of death, what is heaven, what is hell, according to the ancient sages of the Kabbalah. These are secrets that we're going to reveal in the seminar in February 25th. And you can go to the website, as I will direct you over there, because you will also be able to get the proper tool, which I'm going to tell you about now. You'll be able to download it for yourself to use. And I'm going to explain in this video how to make use of it. But first things first. So this tool was first revealed with the advent of Rabbi Isaac Luria, the Ari. And the Ari lived, again, just about almost 500 years ago, let's say 460 or 470 years ago. And the Ari was the Kabbalist that made it possible for us to be able to understand and learn Kabbalah in any meaningful way. Because before that, it would be just completely disjointed. Our minds would not be able to comprehend. Every generation, we become lower and lower and lower, spiritually lower. We are hopefully on the other side of the curve where we are beginning to elevate, and we are certainly in the age of Aquarius where we can begin to make more practical these ancient spiritual tools. That's why they were revealed to us in the first place, okay? Because the universe is really in control, and the universe doesn't make things available to the masses unless it's time. So, we are going to get into it now, and the first thing I need to explain, the basis of this tool, again, this corrective tool, it's called the Tikkun Hanefesh, the soul corrective. Now we have to begin to understand what that means exactly. But it utilizes what we call the four-letter holy name, and that is the Tetragrammaton. Tetragrammaton. I'm going to put it here on the screen, the Tetragrammaton. What is the Tetragrammaton? Well, for most Jews, or in fact, even Orthodox Jews who practice Judaism as a religion, they know it as probably the most popular name of God. Okay? We know, according to the Kabbalah, there are many, many names for whatever we call God, because we don't know what God really means. That's clear. In the ancient teachings of the Kabbalah, we have no clue. In the study, it says we have no understanding. Our mind cannot comprehend what the essence of the Creator is. But rather, what we can comprehend is the light, or the emanation of light that comes from the essence of the Creator. But the essence we will never understand, at least as long as we're in a physical body. We don't understand what that means. But there are names, and these names, like, of course, you see in back of me, as many of you have learned through my videos, and those of you who maybe study Kabbalah, that there are different types of names, each one encapsulating and each one helping to make manifest a certain frequency of the light force of the Creator. And so there are different levels of names. As again, behind me there are the 72 names, which according to the writings of the Zohar, Moses used these names, and it taps into what is called the light of wisdom, or the Chokhmah. And with this light, Moses split the sea. Now, however we understand that needs to be understood. Okay? Not the place for that. We do have a video about it. But there's the 42-letter name of creation, which is the Ana B'Koach prayer, which was written later for the 42 names of creation in order to assist us to be able to use it. We have the Tetragrammaton. The Tetragrammaton, again, is probably the most popular name in terms of prayer, in Judaic prayer, in writings, in Psalms, in pretty much all the Judaic scripture, okay? And it is the name which is pronounced Adonai. Now, oddly enough, it doesn't spell out that name, and we don't actually say that name just kind of haphazardly, because this name, as we will learn, draws energy. And unless we have a vessel for that energy, we don't want to just say it, because the rule is energy becomes captured or in a positive way with a vessel that we are using for a positive purpose, or negativity has the opportunity to capture negativity and use it for the klipa, or klipot in plural, the shells that divide or separate us from the Creator's force. So, and for the similar reasons, we don't also use names of angels, as we have explained. We don't say them with our mouth. Of course, the exception is names which are also names of people, like Michael, Michael, Gabriel, and so on. But other than that, we also do not pronounce the names of angels. For the sake of the learning, if you hear me say the name Adonai, because the other pseudonyms that we use for this is Hashem. Now, many people think Hashem means God. It does not. It simply means the name, referring to this particular name. And for similar reasons, it is only pronounced in that way. It's not written that way. It was only the high priest in ancient times, when a temple or the tabernacle in biblical times existed, that the high priest knew exactly different permutations of how to use this name, how to pronounce it, one day in the year and in one specific place, in the center of the temple, the tabernacle, that which was called the Holy of Holies, which was sort of the ground zero of spiritual force, where he drew down such intense spiritual force by the use of his name and his ability as the priest, Kohen, to channel as a pipe, that was his structure, to channel this energy to all the people, to cleanse or atone or whatever his job was at that time, one day of the year, on the day of Atonement. I know many people know it as atonement, but it is truly a day of unification with the force of the Creator, providing we are prepared for it, and which is why we do many of the things that we do on that day, that we prepare ourselves to draw down this intense and awesome amount of spiritual light. So, this name, the Adonai name, is the key feature within the tool that I'm about to tell you about, the Tikkun Hanefesh. Why is this name so powerful? Because it, within itself, has the power of the entire tree of life within it. It represents the bridge or the vehicle between the spiritual world, the light of endless force, creator force, and the physical world. And so this name is the strongest channel. It is not God, again, because we don't know what God means, but this name, and again, that's why we have these names. These names are vehicles to help us draw down spiritual energy. That's what the names do. By the way, that's what every name does. It is a place for the Creator's light to flow through, and it clothes that light in a particular way. So, again, if we say something is beautiful, we are putting the clothing of beautiful on that energy. If we were to use a negative name for something or to describe something, as we have explained in the videos, then that thing will tend to act for us not in a positive way because we didn't clothe it in a good way. So you can have maybe something happens, it's raw energy. We don't know what it's supposed to turn out to be. We can assist it by giving it a good name, saying, this is amazing, as an example. So we give it a name. Adam gave all the creatures names, it says in Genesis, and whatever he named it, it became its name. That is the power of a name. So, to be clear, this name is given to us. Someone didn't make it up. This is given to us directly from Scripture, which is divine in nature, through divine revelation. This name, Tetragrammaton as it's called, or the Hashem name, the Adonai name, is the strongest vehicle to tap into spiritual energy. So strong that we, again, don't even pronounce that name, and we shouldn't even attempt it because we don't even know how to pronounce it. If we could pronounce it, and we're not in the place all the time to do that. There is no temple, there is no Holy of Holies, and we are not the vehicle. We have no high priest in our generations. We have no one, at least that we are aware of, we will become in the future, aware of those who are able to channel, be a clear pipe to channel the force, to be able, again, to use it in that way. But till then, we have use of it through prayer, through meditation, and very much so through the tool that I'm about to share with you. So first, let's explain, again, what makes this name so powerful? Well, as I said, it contains the entire tree of life. Now, what that means is it contains all of the 10 dimensions of this universe, also known as the sefirot. Now, the sefirot are the 10 dimensions of the universe, and they are, from the top down, they are Keter, Chokhmah, wisdom. Keter is crown. Chokhmah, wisdom. Bina, understanding. Chesed, mercy. Gevurah, judgment. Tiferet, which is translated as beauty. Netzach, translated as victory. Hod, glory. Yesod, foundation. And Malchut, kingdom. Now, these names, especially in English, should never be taken literally. Okay? They were not given as English names. They do not mean conventional things. So please don't make the mistake, as many writers of English Kabbalah books, translating these names and thinking that understanding has to do with understanding, or wisdom has to do with being wise or something like that, and glory, right? And so on and so forth. It doesn't mean that at all. In Hebrew, it does take on different meanings, but without the deeper Kabbalistic understanding, we don't know what it means. But this tree, as it is also known, this tree of life, is the flow of how everything in the universe flows. That's how energy, that's how consciousness flows. Everything must flow through these 10 levels. It is not this idea of tree of life, as many portray it to be, something I can meditate on. I'll meditate on kingdom, and I'm elevating to foundation, and now I'm going to elevate all the way to the level of Bina, understanding, and now I'm a more enlightened soul. No, unfortunately not. I hate to burst the bubble here. It doesn't operate that way. Spiritual elevation comes through understanding how to go through the spiritual process, or the consciousness process, creative process. It's called the process of creation. Now, this is something, of course, I teach. I do teach this one-on-one with people, not for everybody, but we go step in step. There are pieces of this all through my videos. If you are a fan and you're on my channel, then you would begin to understand this idea. But having said that, so we need to understand that this tree of life can be accessed through prayer, meditation when you know what to meditate on. It's not just sitting and meditating. That won't get you there. It might make you feel better. But, it's not as much as the experience, because we're generally looking for an experience of life. Many people looking for an experience, just like when we're little children. We look for an experience, we get high. You know how we all get high when we're little kids? We spin around, we get dizzy, and we fall down. We're high. We have an altered experience, a mind-altering experience. We like it. We get up and we do it again. But that's not what spiritual work is about, unfortunately. So whether it's a substance, whether it's this, spiritual elevation comes by work in the physical world and understanding the creative process and how to rise above the challenge when it comes along. So if you saw the Game Changer, the crash course we just gave, if you haven't, it's available on my website at rabbieabe.com. We began the discussion of understanding the resistance principle, or the rejection principle, and the paradox of how to elevate. There we explain, how do you elevate? There are tools to help us elevate, and there are access points. Today we're going to discuss one of those access points. So again, the Tetragrammaton is the force, it's the tool. And again, it contains the full complement of all 10 dimensions of the universe within it. But in its raw form, it is just that. It's potential. So in order to bring it to a place where it can, so to speak to us, it needs different permutations. And that's the word that the Kabbalists call it, combinations, in Hebrew, tzirufim. It means different vowels or different combinations of the name that relate to different vibrations. So whereas everything in the creative process, the nature of the creation is perfect, always. The DNA is perfect, always. The atom is perfect, always. Until it becomes corrupt, for whatever reason. We know the 99% reason of corruption of DNA begins here. It's consciousness. Because the creative process is really a consciousness process. When human beings corrupt the consciousness process, negativity gets involved in the system. We corrupt our DNA. We, with our consciousness, again, negative consciousness creates negativity. That negativity can manifest on an energetic level, and that certainly affects the physical body. Clearly, when a person is depressed, clearly it affects the immune system. We know that according to medical science, because it becomes suppressed, the white cell count goes down, etc., and a person becomes more open to disease. That operates on the physical level, but it also operates on an energetic or on a spiritual level. So anger, negative emotions, jealousy, we open ourselves up without realizing it to all types of negativity, without realizing it probably most of the time. We create openings, and the corruption occurs within the spiritual immune system. Negativity can enter. Now, it doesn't mean it always does, but it has the opportunity to enter. Anger creates openings. Certainly, intense anger is a big opening for negativity. Any negative emotion, I can tell you that, whether it's jealousy, whether it's allowing ourselves to be depressed. There are many things written about it in the ancient texts of Kabbalah, where one really needs to be very careful from allowing themselves to go into these states of consciousness, because it can open us up to all types of hosts of different types of negativity. And that just makes plain sense. We know anger poisons the body. It allows what is called in Kabbalah the negative bile, the most negative level of bile, because there are 4 levels. There's something called black bile that poisons the entire body when a person is very angry. It's poison. It's an absolute poison. And it's so bad that it enables, the spiritual work that a person may have done. They may have to start from the beginning, okay? Beginning of what? Could be the beginning of the day, beginning of the week, beginning of the month. In really bad cases, maybe the beginning of, who knows when. Because, again, negative emotions affects us physically. So we need to understand that. The Tetragrammaton, again, is a potential force as it is. It's a level. But the different permutations, combinations, and vowels, because the ancient Hebrew vowels, there are, by the way, 10 different types of vowels. Now, can you guess why? 10. Whenever you hear 10 in Kabbalah, it's relating to the tree of life, meaning the 10 sefirot, the 10 dimensions of energy. So each one of those vowels also relate to a different vibration. And every quadrant, let me say, of our body vibrates with a very specific force of that energy. And because everything is a result of the 10 dimensions of this universe, it's within everything. It's within my glasses. These 10 dimensions are within my glasses, or within the water that I'm drinking. 10 dimensions. Everything contains 10 dimensions. Everything contains 10 sefirot, 10 levels of energy. But they are fixed in many items, even though we can affect the energy in water. The Zohar says so, clearly. Don't drink water in front of people who don't like you, or worse, hate you, because the water can take on the energy. It's the strongest molecular memory is in water. That's the basis of homeopathy and other healing techniques. So, again, what do I want to make clear over here? There's certain things are more or less fixed, but again, not even necessarily even material objects can be influenced by other people's energy. We know that. You can walk into a house and feel the house doesn't feel good, or the house feels amazing. What a vibe, okay? An object, because we put energy into it. How does that operate? Well, I'll tell you. 10 sefirot, 10 levels of dimensions of energy. The Tetragrammaton is the code, is the DNA code behind everything in this universe, everything on planet Earth, everything, everyone. Animal, mineral, vegetable, inanimate. And so too the human body. So what's the problem? We become corrupt. Our consciousness corrupts our body. Negativity can affect us, and the negativity of ourself, if we're open to it, causes corruption. Unconscious, conscious, whatever. If we allow ourselves consciously to go to places in our mind that we shouldn't, that can affect. Unconscious thoughts or desires that we don't even know we have, but the results of trauma, the results of, anger, jealousy, pain, abuse in our past, all have the potential to affect us without us even knowing it. And they do. They absolutely do. For better or for worse. And so we must know, is there a way? How do we fix it? Is there a way to set it straight? Is there a way to fix it? Enter the soul corrective. Tikkun Hanefesh. Tikkun Hanefesh. So I want to read to you from the ancient text of the Ari, Rabbi Isaac Luria. Again, almost 500 years old. I won't get into the whole thing because it becomes very technical, but I'll read to you just the base of what he says. Inyan Gadol. This is a great aspect and awesome and terrible in a very powerful way. An awesome, great, and terrible ve'etzah tova v'ikara, and good advice and extremely dear, meaning dear to the soul, dear to the spirit. Gila lanu rabotenu ha'arizal, our teacher, the Ari, meaning Rabbi Isaac Luria, our teacher, has revealed to us in the Sha'ar Ruach HaKodesh, and he gives the reference in the gates of holy or divine inspiration, the gates of Holy Spirit and divine inspiration. Ra'ui la'adam tamid lekaven ula'arich et atzmo ki'ilu hu madur v'kisei al ha'atzilut hakadosh. And a person every day should see himself and concentrate and meditate, first off, to see and appreciate the light that he has within himself, to appreciate himself as though he's part of the throne, which basically means a very, very high spiritual level, the chair, the throne, of emanation, this level called emanation, which is the highest level that we can possibly reach. The Kabbalists explain it can be reached by some on the Sabbath day, when there is a complete revelation of that spiritual light on the Shabbat or the Sabbath. Uvazeh tachol utishre alav kedusha elyona. And if he is able or successful in doing this, then this spiritual light will rest upon him. V'yochal az al yedei kavana zu lekasher kol alamot. Yeah, this needs to be understood according to the Kabbalah. And then this spiritual light, this force, this level will be able to rest upon him, and this holy light will be a part of him. It will become a part of him, and he will be able to connect all the worlds together. All the worlds together. Now, what does that mean? Well, there's one word generally used, okay, among the Kabbalists, and it is called zivug. He will be able to have a unification. And unification means a unity between the light and the vessel, meaning a unity between us, if we are the vessel or we are the receptacle that desires to have that light as part of us, and the force, the light force of the Creator. Because it's not just such a simple matter of, I want light. I mean, we're creatures of desire. Again, go back to my crash course that we had a few weeks ago. Go back to the crash course, or go get the replay on RabbiAbe.com, because if you don't understand what that means, we cannot have light, energy, fulfillment just for the asking. Oh yeah, we can get it temporarily, but temporarily it won't work for us, and it never does. Go back there. This is a tool that you need to work with. It's a spiritual tool to assist us also in order to do our spiritual work. So let me put it now on the screen. It follows the tree of life, meaning the order of the 10 levels. It follows the same. In fact, if you superimpose the tree of life, we'll do that just so you can see. Superimpose the tree of life over this chart of names, then you will understand what I mean. Each level is represented by one of the levels of the tree. But this is the human body, because the 10 dimensions of the universe are really also, it's everything, but it is also the human body, every section of the body, which is here, from the head down to the feet, okay? From the head down to the feet is what we have on the chart over here called the Tikkun Hanefesh. Now, if we understand that as a concept, let's begin to get into it. Because every place on the human body was designed to operate with the perfect structure, energetic structure, kind of the perfect tune, if you will. The tune, right? The perfect vibration. Now, when the vibration is perfect, it will operate perfectly because its vibration, according to the Tetragrammaton, already vibrates in a perfect way. Now, when the DNA becomes corrupt, the spiritual force, the DNA becomes corrupt, it means the DNA goes off to whatever degree, whichever part of the body we're talking about. So, if we want to view the Tikkun Hanefesh, this soul corrective, and we'll get into more, you'll understand more why it is called Nefesh. In the upcoming crash course, we will explain there are 10 levels to the soul. 5 levels to the soul. The lowest level is called Nefesh, but that's the access point for negativity. Okay? There are higher levels called Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, and Yechida. So another 4 levels, which we will explain what they are, how they function, how they operate. February 25th, okay? I'm plugging the new course because I want everybody to come. And by the way, there's a very special added bonus. Yes, we will study deep secrets together, one-on-one, for all those who are registered to be, whether you're there physically or just register for the course. I know a lot of you are overseas and on a different time schedule. But we are going to offer this as a very, very special bonus with every registration. You will have 45 minutes of deep study with me personally, with everyone who's registered for the course. I hope I'm not getting myself into trouble. That, all right? But I'll do our best to accommodate everybody. Anyway, we'll get into the differences of the soul, okay? What the different levels are. But the nefesh is the lowest part, and therefore it is the access point because it deals with survival. It's the closest link to the body, which is why the nefesh, the lowest level, I'll give you the example. We'll talk more about it in the course, but when there's a transplant, specifically a heart transplant, sometimes the recipient takes on the characteristics, if you've ever heard of that, characteristics of the donor. Sometimes it's temporary, sometimes it's long-lasting, sometimes not at all. But I'm sure you've heard of stories like this. Okay? Why? There's a reason, because part of the soul is built in to the blood of the individual, and the heart is the seat of the blood. Okay, so the nefesh, which is the basic desires of the person, is the most open for things to go haywire. Now that affects the other stages, but that affects the body most closely. So it's very important for us to keep that place. It's also the part of our reactive behavior, consciousness, to keep that in a proper vibrational equilibrium, because that is the beginning of where disease enters on an energetic level. Energetic level, not physical. Nothing is physical. Initially, everything becomes physical afterward, but everything happens on a consciousness level first, then it filters down to the physical plane. Okay, what is this? Look at it very simply like a spiritual tuning fork. Yes, that's right. If you know anything about the instruments, guitar, if you played an instrument or a piano, how do they tune it? Well, today maybe they use electronics, but there's something called a tuning fork that you bang it and it makes the perfect pitch to where that, string or a note should vibrate at, and then it's perfectly tuned. Well, that's what this tool helps the body do. And that's why it's called Tikkun Hanefesh. Soul, or the lowest level, the nefesh, corrective for the nefesh. It assists in tuning, in correcting the nefesh. Now, when the nefesh has that perfect vibrational tune equilibrium, it is healed. It is healed. It is healed. It takes, though, corruption is easy. Healing sometimes takes effort, okay? To set things right once they've become corrupt takes, of course, way more effort. Remember, to destroy something takes nothing. To destroy a structure, a little bit of dynamite, and anybody can do that. To rebuild it, that takes time, right? And it's the same spiritually. We can corrupt things. It takes nothing to get, extremely angry, maybe, a trigger, but to get ourselves out of that consciousness and repair what we've, maybe destroyed with that anger, that can take time. So this tool assists us in bringing back the equilibrium, reconstructing, retuning every particular area of the body. Now, it begins, and these are numbered if you look. It begins at the top, and we go down to the bottom. Now, the way this should be used is, optionally, some people can use their hand, the right hand, and imagine white light that comes through the right hand. Other people are more comfortable just meditating on the sequence of the boxes and imagining white light coming in that way. Either way is fine, whatever you're comfortable with. Now, again, the way we do it is from the top down in order of the numbers. And so let's go through it. All right? Again, we are imagining white light going into each specific area of the body whilst we look at that corresponding box. Why? Because each tetragrammaton has within it specific permutations with vowels and specific vibration that pertains to that area of the body to tune it, to remove the corruption, to set right the DNA. Box 1, Galgalta, or the skull. The skull represents the skull. That means the entire skull, generally. That's box number 1. So we look at it, imagine white light while we're looking at that name. Even if you can read it, we don't read it. In our mind, perhaps, that's fine, but we do not read it aloud. And if you've seen the videos on angels, you understand why. We don't want to put our finger directly in the socket. We want the energy, but through resistance, like a good light bulb. Then we go to box number 2, which is Chokhmah, the level of wisdom. Again, this does not mean wisdom that we understand. It's called the light of wisdom. And we are, again, meditating on that sequence and drawing white light through that name. Then box number 3, Bina, that is the left brain. So if I didn't say it, number 2 is the right brain. Bina, number 3, the left brain. And again, you can do this as long or as short as you want. I'm not going to make the video much longer than it already is. Number 4, the right eye, and the sequence here. The left eye, number 5. Number 6, the right ear. Number 7, the left ear. Number 8, the nose. And specifically, you'll see a right and left. That is obviously because of 2 nostrils, the right nostril and the left nostril. This sequence is another type of permutation of the Tetragrammaton. Now, number 10, a little bit of explaining. 10 is the mouth. It is the mouth itself, which is the bold letters, is the mouth. Everything within the mouth, inside the mouth itself, which means the tongue and the throat, and the vocal cords. But then underneath, you will see some small letters. These you can pronounce. I will pronounce it the best I can for you. Now, this is pronounced Achaha Gichak Detalnat Zas Sheretz Bomf. Again, Achaha Gichak Detalnat Zas Sheretz Bomf. This sequence is very special. It's to correct the mouth and everything that the mouth says and does, because the mouth is the source of how we manifest things that come from our brain. That sequence of letters and those sounds that I made is actually every sound that the mouth says, that can say, okay? The potential of every sound that the mouth can say is those or a combination of those. Achaha gichak detalnat zas sheretz bomf. Again, it's to correct the voice, the mouth, and assist us to give us strength against speaking negatively. Because remember, everything goes around, comes around, okay? We don't want to curse. We don't want to speak negatively about others. We don't want to slander anyone. Because, again, remember the rules. What goes around comes around, all right? That's the mouth, the throat, the vocal cords, and the correction even of the words. Number 11 is the right arm. Chesed, mercy, the right arm. Number 12, the left arm. Gevurah. Number 13, very important. It is the entire torso up to the waist and all the inner organs. Number 13, Tiferet, beauty. Again, represents the central column, the body, the torso, from the base of the neck downward. And it is the torso and all the inner organs. So you can, in your own time, if you really want to do a deeper meditation, meditate to use this name and meditate on each one of your internal organs: the heart, the lungs, the liver, the spleen, the pancreas, everything, the abdomen, the stomach, the intestines, large intestine, small intestine, bladder, everything. Study up on your organs, on your anatomy. All right? Bring that white light with this name to all the organs. Number 14 is the right thigh, the entire leg up until the foot. 15, the left. 14, Netzach, victory, Netzach. 15, Hod, glory, the left leg, thigh up until the ankle, till the foot. Number 16, Yesod, foundation, is two things. Pay attention. Yesod is the spinal column. That's why we have this particular sequence. You'll see the letters that look like the spine and the genitalia, sexual organs in male and female. So it is the spine, the column of energy, which is the foundation of the body, and the foundation of life, which is the sexual organs. And number 17, finally, the feet. The feet. Okay, so I know this is a very long session, but I assure you, very worthwhile. If you do this, it's recommended twice a day, morning and afternoon or evening before you go to bed, to bring that energy. Now, remember one thing. Remember, healing is not generally spontaneous. Spiritual healing doesn't mean, oh, I'm healed, okay? I'm not saying it can't happen, but that's not what we are after necessarily, okay? Great. If that happens, that's great. But remember, energy and the source of everything is an energetic force. What does that mean? That means I'm in the right place at the right time. It guides me to what I need when I need it. Now, what does that really mean? On a practical level, it means also being guided to the correct doctor if that's what I need, if that's the process I need. Getting the right medicine, okay, if that's what I need. Beginning to eat the right foods, or in other words, bringing me closer to the things that I need that will bring the healing on the physical plane, in the 1% of life, because sometimes we need to learn that and go through that process. So, God heals. And that's what the verse says in Exodus, okay? We read it recently. Ki ani Adonai rofecha, because I am Tetragrammaton, your healer. What does that mean? I am the God. Again, G-O-D. No, I am this name, your healer. Ani Hashem rofecha. Why? Because that's what it meant. That's what it refers to. This name can channel the healing to you. That's the healer. Doesn't mean God comes down and heals you. Again, maybe that happened. That happens too. But we want to be always closer to that force of light and bring that light into our life so that everything in our life spells one thing: light, fulfillment, creation, the right thing, the right time, the fulfillment, the right relationship, the right health, the right abundance in our life. After all, are we here to suffer? No. The Creator wants to give us more than we want to receive. But remember, exactly what Rabbi Isaac Lurie, the Ari, is saying with this, we want to make ourselves a seat, a place where the Tetragrammaton, where the Creator's force can rest. And when we do that, that translates into healing, well-being, however it comes about. How it comes about, less important than if it comes about. And that's what I have for you. Remember, guys, please. Now, very important. Very important. If you want this, go to my website. Go to the website, rabbieabe.com. Go to the download section, and this will be available to you as a handout, as a chart. You can hang it up. You can keep it for meditation, to do your meditation with, so you have it clearly in front of you. Okay, it will be a PDF file on the download section of the rabbieabe.com. I almost forgot to mention that. Okay, very good, everybody. Many, many blessings. Thank you very much. Lots of love. And I will see you soon on the next video. All the best.